A fiend and an arcanist. Working together. Nightmares will not deter me, demon fawn. Stay your sermons, I won't be swayed.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are playing Yone and we will be testing out a new build. It is full lifesteal, so you only build lifesteal items. It's gonna give you insane amount of sustain, so you never have to base again. It's also gonna make you absolutely insane in fights. But we need to get to that stage first. We are playing against the Diana. Even though Yone is considered weak early game, guys, you can still create small leads for yourself that can turn into bigger leads. For example, against the Diana level 1, you can really go for those extended fights if you manage to poke it down with your Qs. Because your level 1 is actually pretty strong, because you don't use any mana and you have pretty low cooldown on your Q, so you will be able to go for extended fights, especially with the Conqueror. So even though he is weak early game, you can still make stuff happen. I got first spot right here, and that means that we'll be able to purchase more items. You can go for the call if you want to, but I just like to speed things up so you can get the core components much faster. As you may already know, then attack speed will lower the cooldown and cast time of your Q and your W. So it is a crucial component on Yone and Yasuo as well. And do be careful in the landing phase if the wave is pushed up, because you are pretty immobile and your third Q is not that reliable. So it is very important that you have really good vision, so you always know if the jungle is about to gank, and then you can react accordingly. Preferably you want level 3 before you start trading, so you have your E up for that extra damage and then also bonus movement speed. You don't always have to get a third Q into the E, guys. You can also just go for a straight E into Q. Whether it's your first Q or second or third one, does not matter. Because the thing is, when you have your third Q up, the dash thingy that will knock up, then people will usually just back off, right? And then you won't really get a good trade off. So you can often surprise them by just going in the moment you have your E up, go for short trade, and then you can back off. Because even though a lot of champs are much stronger than Yone in the early game, you have insane trading potential as soon as you have your E up. And remember that your E can block out CC. It makes you unstoppable on the way back, so you can also use it to bait out CC, like Zoe's bubble for example. You can completely nullify the CC part of it, so he is considered a counter pick into champions like the Zoe. I can highly recommend that you learn Yone by playing really aggressive, so you know exactly how much damage you can deal at every point in the game. And when the target is about to be executed by your E, then you can see that mark break in half, changing color as well, turning to black. But if somebody gets a random heal or shield when you're about to E out, then they're gonna survive, right? So you don't always have to E out the moment you see that mark cut in half. Sometimes it can pay off just waiting a bit and still keep attacking the opponent, so you make sure that even if they get a healing or a shield, they will still end up dying. So the Berserkers is the item you will be getting every single game, no matter who you're playing against, but after this point then it's pretty situational. For example, if you play against multiple AP champs, then you can also go for Withstand first item. It's not something you see very often, but it's super viable on Yone. If they have AP jungle and AP mid, then it's fine to go with Zen. This game though, we are going for the full lifesteal. So we will not be going for the Witsen. We're just gonna build lifesteal, of course starting with the shield bow. That will be the first big item. You have your ultimate up, guys. It is very easy to dodge your ultimate if your opponent is mobile, because it's pretty slow when it comes out and it's also pretty easy to predict. So If the opponent is mobile, then you usually want to combine that ultimate with something else that has CC. Most of the time that is your third Q. Third Q into the ultimate, that is a guaranteed hit. And just like that, your E can be used to cancel out CC, but this does not work against Mordekaiser's ultimate or Malzahar's ultimate, guys. What happens is that even though your E is about to expire, then their ultimates will extend the timer of your E, and you'll be stuck in place. You'll not be able to E out of the Mordekaiser's ultimate. You can still move around in his ult, but if Malzahar ulted you, then you'll just be stuck in place until it expires. Still getting that first core component. If I have enough gold, then I prefer getting the most expensive component for the shield bow, just so we can get the all items faster. But the Vamp Scepter is also completely fine if you need the sustain in the lane. If you're playing in a difficult matchup, then it can also be really good to get that extra sustain so you can heal back up. It's important that when you play against melee matchups in the early game, even if they're counter picks, Diana actually has a very easy time against Yone if she plays it properly. So it can be very difficult against good Diana. So it's important that when you have the advantage in the super early game, like level 1 and 2, that's when you really want to try to zone them away. Try to poke them whenever you can with your Qs. When they walk up to CS and touch them, make sure that you punish them. Because the small leads you create can really end up making the lane a lot easier once you get more levels, because the opponent will be low HP, so they will not have as many options anymore to find kills on you. So even though Yone doesn't really have that much impact in the early game normally, sometimes you'll be able to snowball like I'm doing this game, but this is not going to happen every single game. In the game, so you don't really get any kills, all you can do is focus on farming, and then if your jungler comes, then of course you can look for kills, but your main goal is just to farm up. You get those two items, the shield bow and the infinity edge, that's when you start carrying. But you can already look for kills as soon as you have the shield bow and boots as well. Since this is a full lifesteal build, we are not going through the standard path. We're gonna get items like the Bloodthirster, Blade of the Ruined King, Ravenous Hydra as well. Super fun items to play, and you also get some melee damage from that. You're probably wondering what happens if the opponent goes anti-healing while you're building full lifesteal. It is going to cut down some of your healing, but you have to keep in mind that anti-healing is temporary. So as soon as it wears out, you just have to auto-attack like 2 or 3 minions and then you're back to full HP. Even if you are hit by the anti-healing, you're still gonna heal up really fast. Just keep pushing here. Q into the W is gonna clear out the backline minions. And remember to also get the tower plates whenever you can. 160 gold per plate, so 2 plates, that means you already get more gold than what you get from a normal kill. We can only get the shield bow components from now, but that's also completely fine. The big component in the shield bow section is actually really strong. Make sure trading pretty good as well, because it gives you attack speed and AD. So it's gonna lower the cooldown of your Q and W. We are super strong right now, of course. We snowballed the lane and completely destroyed the Diana, but if you're going even here, guys, then you are not able to do much. You just have to stay under the tower and then you just focus on last hitting. And then maybe if the opponent makes a mistake, then you can look for a kill. But make sure that if you see the opponent roaming and you're not able to follow up because you might maybe lose the 1 versus 1 if he waits for you, then you just want to push the wave as fast as you can and take the tower plates. That's how you really punish these roamers, especially if you're playing against assassins, because they will be roaming the entire time. Something like a Talon is just gonna AFK roam. That's a really nice skill right there. If you know the damage of your champ, then you can pull off stuff like this.
Unstoppable.
The next time we base, we will have enough gold for this shield bow, and that's a very big power spike on Yone. Suddenly you become super tanky, so you can deny a lot of burst damage just with the shield alone, and that is really going to catch a lot of people off guard. You will also get camped a lot if you play too aggressive, guys. It is going to happen very often, especially if you play Yasuo or Yone. Those champs are known to be camped a lot. They're very annoying to play against, so it is understandable that people will try to shut them down. Survive with like 1 HP. That does happen sometimes. So at this point you can pretty much 1 versus 2 if you are this far ahead. Also when you get the shield bow, then you can also look for those 1 versus 2s, but of course it depends who you're playing against. If they have 2 assassins with insane amount of burst damage, then of course you should be more careful. But at the same time they're also very squishy, so if you hit both of them with all of your abilities, then you should also be able to burst them down. We got the shield bow now, and remember we are going for a full lifesteal build, so we're gonna go Bloodthirster next. But the standard build here would be the Infinity Edge. That is what's going to give you the highest amount of damage. But Bloodthirster, third item, is also insanely fun because you get so much lifesteal and you also get a big shield. We're gonna have insane amount of sustain, so even though we take a super bad trade, we just need to find a jungle camp or some minions and then we can heal back up. So it allows us to go for trades constantly and then just heal back up.
Turret plating will soon fall.
You can also take away the jungle camps, and actually you should be doing that if you don't have anything else to do. Right here, I prefer to get the tower plate and the tower as well. But when you don't have anything else to do and you shout in the wave, then make sure that you take away the raptors. It doesn't matter if it's your jungler or the enemy jungler. Just make sure to take them so you also get yourself even further ahead. And your third Q can be used to hop over walls, guys. That's also important to know. So you can use it to escape people with. That's a big mistake right here. When I went in, I should just have backed off because I did survive that engage, and they did end up using a lot for me, so that would have been super worth, but sometimes you just have to try so you can see exactly what your champion is capable of, so you really get to know the limits. Of course, the Ilawi is absolutely insane. If she can hit every body with those tentacles, just gonna absolutely demolish them. So we have a pretty good scaling team composition this game. We had the Vayne on the AD carry, we have Yone mid. We're in the mid game, guys. When the tower goes down in the bottom lane or in the mid lane, then if possible just try to swap with your bot lane. It's a lot better for you if you can get to that extended lane, especially if you play against someone who's weaker than you in a 1 versus 1. Because since it is an extended lane, then it's also going to make it harder for them to escape. You have much bigger room to move around, to look for kills as well, and to make sure that people don't run away. Just keep split pushing. And recently I've also been running teleport a lot on Yone, but that's in high elo. Because most of the time when you pick Yone, they're gonna counter pick you and then you can't really do much in lane. So when you have the teleport up, then you don't have to worry about being low HP and greeting for an incoming minion wave. You can just teleport or recall and then teleport back into the lane. And when you do have teleport, then of course it also makes it much easier for you to split push, because you don't have to worry about your teammates getting caught. If something happens on the map, then you can just teleport and help them out. And if nothing happens, then you can just keep AFK farming and get yourself even further ahead. We got the Bloodthirster, the second lifesteal item. We're just gonna build only lifesteal items from here on and out, getting crazy amounts of lifesteal. Even if they do have anti-healing, it is not gonna matter much. We already get insane shielding from these two items alone because of the overheal mechanic on the Bloodthirster, and then we also have the passive shield from the shield bow. We get a lot of defensive stats, even though we're also building offensive.
Every aspect of an Azakana is a stroke. Each stroke forms a character.
Also, your ultimate also makes you unstoppable. But, for example, if Skarner ulted you in your ultimate animation, then your ultimate will go through, but you will still get dragged straight back to him. So that's important to know. It doesn't work exactly like your E. So be careful with how you use it, and you can also get displaced while you are channeling up your ultimate. Look at how fast we are healing up, even though we got hit by the ignite. The massive shielding we get from the W, the shield bow and the Bloodthirster makes it really difficult for people to take us down. They can of course go for the Serpent's Fang and then anti-healing. In that case we will get screwed, but otherwise this is really strong and really difficult to play against as well. Just look at how fast we are healing up. And then we also get a pretty decent sized shield from the Bloodthirster passive, so we have a lot of mixed stats, and that of course makes it pretty difficult for anyone to fight you in a 1 vs 1 or even 1 vs 2. Next item will be Blade of the Ruined King, also another really good item, very good against healthy targets, because it deals damage on health, and that movement speed passive is also really nice, so you can catch up to people, make sure they don't escape. Combine that with your E active, and then suddenly you become super fast as well without having to use your third Q or your ult.
Demons take many forms.
We're just gonna keep taking away every single thing on our path, guys. Always make sure that you farm at all stages. Even if you're fed like I am right now, it's still important that you keep farming up, because if you end up taking down their inhibitors but you're not able to end, then they will slowly come back into the game, because they will be getting more gold and CS than you are. It's important that when you take down the inhibitor, for example in the mid lane, then you don't go mid anymore, unless you can end the game. You go to the other lanes and take down the other inhibitors, or you start doing the bigger objectives like the Baron and the Elder Drake. Ridiculous amount of lifesteal is always fun to play with, and as I mentioned earlier on, even if they have anti-healing, you're still gonna heal for a lot, and anti-healing is a temporary stat, so as soon as it wears out, then you can just find a nearby jungle camp, awesome minions, and then you're back to full HP.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
I'm gonna get the third lifesteal item, the Blade of the Ruined King. Really strong item in a 1 vs 1, and then the next lifesteal item will be the Ravenous Hydra. Just to go for that full vampire lifesteal build. I have tried this several times, And of course the normal build is a lot better with the Infinity Edge, but this is a fun way to play Yone, and you still have a lot of damage. It's not like you're losing out on a lot of damage, you still have a ton of DPS potential. But you also have a lot of lifesteal. Sitting on a 3-item power spike and just gonna absolutely shred anyone who's trying to 1 versus 1 Yone. So on this champ you pretty much come online as soon as you get the shield bow and berserkers, and then it's only gonna get better from there. It's very strong late game. You just have to be able to find the picks with your ults. So it's good if you have some synergy on your team with somebody who can set you up, then Yone can work absolutely perfect. But this was the Yone video, guys. I hope this was helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and see you all in the next one.